kind of like when we started the e-mining kind of program, we were given like a learning log, which kind of had like learning intentions and then reflection activities and activities that we could like complete throughout the week of whatever we were learning. And so I kind of found that when we had these learning intentions, they were way easier to know what we were going to have to learn throughout the week. And I kind of was able to help you know what you had to know, what from the information you're given in the week, what you had to know. It like really just helped with that. And then obviously the reflection activities helped you kind of identify what you'd learned and kind of the main things you needed to take away from that. Like it really helped you reflect on your learning and what you needed to know. And so like, and I also found that we did a lot more kind of student-centered kind of learning and stuff. Like we did like you were kind of given responsibility for your learning, especially when we had to do like projects or like watch videos, because we had to kind of think for ourselves and take that information and then put it for ourselves. Like you know, you kind of had to rely on yourself. You couldn't just rely on having the book in front of you to answer the questions.
It also helped, the reflection activities help you learn what you could improve on the next time you're looking back at that subject. Kind of what you didn't do so great on or what you did well. So that was quite helpful.
Josh also said that like you had more control, like we had to prepare stuff the night before for like projects and stuff.
It made you take more responsibility because you kind of had to do it all yourself. And not yourself, but the teacher did help, but it was a lot of like they gave you a task and you to go over and do it. So it was definitely a lot more, it kind of felt like the responsibility was more evenly split from student to teacher. It wasn't just the teacher having to teach us everything. We kind of were told what we needed to have by the end of like a task, and then we'd go away and find the information ourselves. So I found that it was a lot more based on like us, like independent learning or student-centered learning almost.
Different skills that you learn from each subject. So like skills that you'd get from researching a project in science, you could bring that to geography or CSB or business. So you'd get different like teamwork and organisation skills in each different subject, and you can use them in the other subject as well. So there was kind of an overlap in that way as well.
Yeah. I think very interesting. Like doing it across 5 subject areas or however many subjects you take definitely kind of helped to see like how CSB look on something and how science looks on something. Like it helped differentiate, and then you knew that's the social aspect of something. It's not mixing, because usually like you do something like this in science or in geography, you kind of have to do all of that from one area or from one view, and it definitely helped to see it from different views, because you were able to be like, oh, so like that's how it affects it socially, and you know that's how it affects it socially and scientifically.
I feel like it helped because like you knew the background of what you were doing in other subjects, and like you kind of wanted to contribute more because like you were confident in what you were saying. And
I think the highlight of the project for me was probably just kind of working with my classmates and other people in my year group, just working on different projects and activities in the class, kind of developed like different skills that I would have had. Like I worked and learned better in teams, and also I really enjoyed kind of, I didn't even know what a critical raw material was, so learning about sustainability and in our economy.
Such a topic that you really didn't know anything about, because usually when you go into school you kind of know what you're going to learn. You kind of know like, oh, geography, you're going to learn about an earthquake, but like going into this, it was like something you really did not know anything about. So it was definitely interesting to like discover a lot of new things, and definitely like the new way, like it's a different way of learning. It's not the same as just going into like using textbook or like looking at something on the board, but it was definitely fun to see that like, you know, it was our turn to take control of our learning, so that was fun.
Before, I would definitely be very nervous about speaking up in front of my peers. I'd be like very, I'd want to like find any way to get out of it. But now I feel much more confident in being able to raise my hand and give my points out during any class.
Yeah, I definitely think that as a whole class, we're more confident now. We're sort of known for expressing our opinions, and I think it's a lot to do with these activities that we have done.
The one that I enjoyed most was we did a standing debate. So the class split up into 2 groups, and we stood alongside each other in a line and faced each other. And we debated a topic, and then you had to debate about something even if you weren't on the side of it. So you really had to think hard. And then we incorporated a football that you threw to each other, and you could throw it to different people so you could hear everyone's opinion. And it was like quite inclusive as well, so it was good.
Yeah, I liked the debating and being able to hear everyone else's points, and if you had the same point as another person, you could kind of like relate to that point.
Yeah, I definitely think that I'm better at getting a point across, because we were given a safe and fun environment to learn how to let go of our nervousness and our inhibitions and just be able to focus on the points that we're trying to make.
I could bring it into other classes like Irish. In my other language classes, although the vocabulary is different, like it's still you speaking out loud in front of class, teacher. So yeah, it definitely helps in other classes, like especially oral classes.
Yeah, I think it would be good for other classes to do it because I think it really benefits then when you're going forward, and even for like when we have to go into college, then we'll be able to have the skills to, say, work in groups when we're doing assignments and be able to get our own points in and be able to kind of talk in the group.
During the Step Up programme, we reflected often on what we'd done and what we could do better. Our teachers would make videos and we could reflect in the videos so we can watch them back later to see how far we've come. So in other subject, I can reflect and I know how to reflect and what to expect and how to look back on what I've done.
I've learned a lot of skills in the Step Up project. Some include leadership skills, collaboration skills, and especially research skills. They really helped improve the way I do my presentations in my CBAs and in other work, so it really helped.
I really enjoyed working as a class because we grew closer as a class, we became friendlier. It was just overall great, but also learning a new skill. I really enjoyed just becoming familiar with technology, and especially with the world we're heading into. We're heading into a world full of technology, and I think that this really puts us in a good place for the future we're heading into.